So good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all you beautiful viewers around the globe, and welcome to another Intimate Conversation series. And today we have the beautiful guest of Caroline Byrd, who is joining us. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mandy and Janine, for having me here.
So very welcome. We're very excited about this conversation with you and Jonah, of course. So right now I'll hand it over to Janine and she will introduce you through your bio.
Thank you. Welcome, Caroline. It's lovely to be here with you. I'll just read out your bio. Caroline has a rare talent of bridging the gap between the conscious and unconscious, the known and the unknown, using alternative healing modalities. Individuals and groups experience profound healing, awareness, and insight as their consciousness expands to encompass a deeper perception of truth. Developing her natural gifts as an emotional intuitive, clairvoyant, medium, and channel, she uses her abilities to see beyond the body, the mind, and its constraints, gently utilizing her life skills, connection to source, and training to go beyond the perceived world. Caroline says in her own words, "Imagine what it would feel like to find your soul's healing potential and become the greatest version of yourself. We all search for that one moment, that one divine connection. Soulbirds is my moment, when the soul recognized itself and its purpose and the winds took flight into the world of creation. I hear your soul calling. It wants to be free and explore beyond the confines of beliefs, fears, and control. Throughout my life, I have heard the great wisdom of the ancient ones, the collective consciousness. The voice within, known as Jonah, guides, heals, and helps me understand who you are and how together we can heal the blocks to your soul's true purpose. Over many years, through group and individual sessions, I discovered that my words are not just words. They vibrate a healing energy that touches the very core of your soul's essence. It was through this realization that I began to create meditations for relaxation, release, and spiritual upliftment. My journey has brought me to this time where healing is a natural part of my life, and helping you find, heal, and discover your innate abilities is my divine purpose. Soulbirds has been cultivated and guided throughout my life to reach beyond walls of limitation. Expansion through your awareness embodies deep transformation that creates divine healing experiences. This is my purpose, to dissolve the blocks to your awareness and create a life full of healing potential." Thank you, Caroline. It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow.
So
I was just listening to that myself again.
It is well when you hear it, eh?
I got goosebumps.
Gorgeous.
So the thing is, of course, that I can read your bio, but when I'm reading your words speaking, I can go into that energy and like really, really feel the flow of that. So when I was reading it before we were online, I thought, oh yes, really feeling this, really feeling the clarity and the depth of this. So yes, I love reading those parts out. It's really beautiful. So I'd just like to start off today, Caroline. You mentioned in your bio that your journey has brought you to this time where healing is a natural part of your life. Could you share with us some of that journey that supported you reaching this point of awareness and the healing space you hold for others?
Yes, it's been many years, but ultimately my whole life, where I have just understood energy as a child, understood how to move energy, how to play with energy. And as children in nature, being brought up in a very natural environment near the bush, playing with all the little critters, snakes and lizards and all those lovely critters here in Australia. I found that there was no fear, as we do as children, but as the child understanding energy, there was a part of me that knew how to place energy, move energy, and actually be able to hide myself when I needed to, not to be seen energy as well. So this then translated into what I've always known inside me as the voice within. I didn't know that there was a difference. As a child, I was always getting told off because I spoke up too much. My dad would be, you think before you speak, that energy. So even as a child, there was this internal movement for me to see things beyond what I was being shown in the physical form. So I would know things subtly about people. I would see movement in waves behind people, and I'd go, oh, what's going on there? So I was very curious, always wanted to see deeper and more. That then, as I got into teenage years, the rebel came out and just wanted to play and have fun. But then it became very obvious to me that it's not that I knew more, but I knew beyond what people were saying. So whatever someone would say to me, it was like this voice would go, now, did you hear that? And I'll be like, yeah. And they go, well, this is what's really going on. I'm like, okay. So then I would share what I was hearing, of course, with no filter as a child. It did not come out to generous, in generous amounts to people who wanted to hear it. It was over the top. So I had to learn to put a filter on, think before you speak. Children should be seen and not heard, all those energies, as a lot of us understand what that was. So what happened was I would probably say I played a lot. Now the labels come on, when you get to the adult, psychic, medium, all of those words, but I never knew what they meant. I didn't even understand it. I just was like, well, this is who I am. So yes, you start to label yourself. And that then created a lot of problems. People would come to me and say, hey, Caroline, will you give me a reading? Get the tarots. I love playing. Have a wine. Hey, I'm just like, have a wine. Let's get the tarots out. I was like in my 20s when I was doing this. But I had to say to people, are you sure you want me to read for you? Because where I go is in the emotional field. So this is how I started to realize I'm not just going to go, oh, you're going to get married and move house and have 4 kids and you're going to lose your job. To me, that's like, yeah, this is just life. But what is behind that? What is behind what's really going on for you? So this is where I'd start to go. And people were like, whoa, what do you mean? Because they had the masks that they hid behind. So I was very, at a young age, able to move that mask and go behind them. So when people sit in front of me, I listen to what they say, but at the same time I'm going, but this is what's really going on. In such that movement of energy. So again, I talk with my hands, I move, and when I'm talking to people, I'm doing this all the time. So this is this is how it all started. So the voice was always there. The voice, I never knew there wasn't a voice. I didn't know that not everyone had this extra voice, this part of consciousness that is so clear and so clairaudient as, hang on, here comes another label. Oh yeah, I'm clairaudient, where I just said it was the voice. All right. So then it goes into my late 20s, married early, had a child in a domestic violence relationship. And my husband, when I was 29, died in a car accident. So that was where all doorways into consciousness opened, was the moment of his death. And it's never stopped. So that was coming up to 32 years ago now, that this energy has opened up in me, that he came to me after he died. Someone who's DV in life is now a spirit guide in spirit. And people go, really? I'm like, yeah, but you deal with that. They're not the same. They're pure soul, pure spirit. So the voice was always there, very strong. After that, I started meditating. Why? Because I ended up with major panic attacks and anxiety. Because I didn't deal with the grief properly. I had a 9-year-old son. I had to do, help him and help him heal. And I let myself just get pushed back. I was always appear as a strong woman. How many times when you're that strong woman, does anyone come to you and go, hey, Caroline, you were right. Even through the funeral, people were coming to me crying, oh, it's all right, And afterwards I went, hang on, no one's actually said to me, how are you? And I realized, because that's what I portrayed. That's what I showed the world, my strength. But then I realized over that time, it is within my vulnerability that my strength exists. Yeah. So that
was a place to go.
Yeah, that was a major turning moment. As I said, the voice was always there, not knowing that it was a voice, just knowing that there was this companion always sharing, telling me, talking to me. I knew everything before it was happening. I knew if there was going to be a blackout. I drive along the car and I know if there's a speed camera, I get told everything, but I listen. That's the key. I listen because I've always accepted it.
Yeah.
Greatest gift my parents gave me was to be atheist.
Yep.
No religion in our house.
Good, eh?
Yeah, so I had nothing to gauge my beliefs from. A voice spoke to me. I didn't think it was the devil or something bad. I went, yes, thank you. I had an experience. I saw spirit. Yes, thank you. So I never had anything to gauge it from. So I trusted myself. I trusted my natural instincts. It's like, unfortunately, those who, you are brought up in that religion, it's beautiful. There is a purpose for all of it. But you actually can sometimes get restricted and confined in it. And even though your soul and your consciousness is wanting to grow, you feel it, you move, and then all of a sudden it closes because of the belief. So I started to work with beliefs a lot of times. The meditation was what I call now my holy grail. Because if I didn't meditate, my mind would do a number on me. I was fearful. I was anxious. I was taking medication. I was on Xanax for a while, to actually calm. I call reset. I sometimes need, people need to reset their bodies.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with anything that we've created in this reality, because this reality is here to help us, not create conflict in us, but to help us and guide us. So whatever we create to serve a purpose, use it, I say, but understand why you're using it and for what purpose. So this all happened. This in my 30s, really got into my spiritual journey through meditation. Loved it. I was seeing things. Guides came to me. It was just, I had past life after past life. I never had to read many books or do the work that a lot of people have to. It was just natural. It's like, this is my life. There is nothing apart from this. So Jonah, how did Jonah become Jonah and not the voice? Well, for many years, I was understanding, okay, I've got this voice. And then I went to a spiritual group. It was all women and everyone's sitting, we meditated. And then we were going around talking and sharing. And I shared something with this woman. And she said, how did you know that? And I said, the voice told me. It's the first time I ever felt comfortable to talk and mention the voice, because to me, it was just me naturally. And she looked at me like I was weird. And they all went, what do you mean the voice? And I went, oh. And I went, shut it down. I thought, I am never going to say that again, because they're looking at me like I'm a freak, like there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Okay. So from there, I kept it to myself, but I continued meditating. And then I moved. Knew that I had to move to Queensland, Australia. It was just inside my heart. I just knew I had to go there. When I arrived here, within 2 weeks, my housemate said, I've got a friend coming from work and I'd like you to meet him. And I was like, okay, yeah. I'm married, at the time, everything's great. And I heard the knock at the door. I was living downstairs and I heard the footsteps above me. My whole body started to vibrate Like, I mean, internal zzz, and I was like, oh my gosh, who is this man? I was terrified. I was in a good way, not a bad way, but I was like, oh my God, who is he? So I thought, oh, I better go upstairs and, you know, at least say hello. So I go up, made a coffee, and there was this really nice looking Indian man sitting in the house. And he just smiled, nodded, how are you? With this deep tone, my whole body vibrated again. And I was like, just ran back downstairs, terrified. I was like, I can't do this. Within 3 months, I said to my housemate, oh, you know that man? I said, I kept feeling I need to talk to him. So I said to him, I need to talk to him. And he said, oh, I forgot. He said, he wants to talk to you. I was like, oh. So he came around, sat in my healing room because I was doing Reiki back then. I am a Reiki master. So he came and he sat in my room. He looked at me and he said, you have something to share with me. And I said, no, you have something to share with me. And we both laughed. And that was the beginning of 10 years of insane, deep teachings from an ashram in India, where every week this man would come to my house, sit in my room. He took me through every layer of energy that I even didn't know about. The breath work, moving energy. The ashram is the institute of Dhyana Yoga and Tantra research. So I learned about true Tantra coming from the ancients. This lineage is over 500 years old and it's not worldly. In fact, the first time I went to India, my husband and myself, we were the first Westerners that went and got to this ashram.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
But that's how remote it was. It was brilliant. It was amazing. But anyway, this man triggered so much in me. You imagine that, you know, he's working energetically, sitting right in front of me, like eye to eye, nose to nose sometimes, and just doing silly little things. Like one time he was sitting and he got his nose and he rubbed it just under my left eye like that. And I was like, whoa, what did you do? My spine went pop, 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 pop.
Wow.
And he said, have you ever been touched like that there? And I went, no. He said, we just released energy out of your spine.
Wow.
So he was showing me all these things. Every time that man would leave, that's it. I'm not doing this. All my stubbornness came out, right? I'm not doing it. What's he doing to me? Oh my God. I was touching every single part of my being that no one had ever seen, or including myself. So 10 years, imagine 10 years, once a week, we did in-depth work. And then, you know, to this day, we're like brother and sister. We got on really well. He lives here in Brisbane. He goes back and forth to India. We have a laugh, and there's times where I don't want to talk to him because he irritates me. It's like sibling rivalry, really. But so that's how all the depth of my teachings came in, and meditation. So I started to run groups. People wanted to know about this breath work, the 7 breaths for well-being. In one meditation, we end up priming and training people to breathe 49 breaths into their system. So the whole body is oxygenated, it's alive. So I was teaching this. I've been teaching this now for probably the past 20 years. I love it. I just love every aspect. But in group work, and many of us who have run groups know that no matter what you're teaching, you end up being a counselor on some form.
Yeah.
People are not there because they want to learn a technique. They're there because they want to heal something. They're there because they have a block or a belief or a problem. And it comes out in groups.
Yep.
So I found that I was constantly in this flow of moving energy, talking to them, taking them to different heights and states and clearing without knowing sometimes what was going on, because Jonah, the voice, was there. Now, eventually I was camping one day and I had a magazine and I opened the page and it's like someone went with my head. Look there. Of course, it was Jonah. And there was this little ad that said holistic counseling. And I'm like, oh, holistic counseling. I wonder what that is. So I Googled it when I got home and I looked up the website, and all the modules of this training were everything that I was actually starting to do in this group therapy work without knowing I was doing the group therapy. So I went and I trained. I stayed in that school of training for 5 years because I became a coordinator and I helped the school. So I did this process over and over again for 5 years. Loved it. So yes, I have a diploma in holistic counseling. I've had my private practice now for 15 years and I sit with people, and it is in that space that all of me gets shown. There is not one layer that they don't receive. I can be the channel. I can be the medium, the psychic, the intuitive. I can be the empath when I need to, yet I'm not empathic. But I can bring all layers and energies through. Because of the work that I was trained in, it actually ignited all my gifts. So, and I kept thinking, why am I doing this? And Jonah said, people need labels. They do. People need labels. So how did Jonah now? Jonah, many times I've asked about, because, when you get into spirituality as such, people go, who's your guide? What's your guide's name? I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. So I'd sit there and I'd go, so what am I going to call you? Like, because you guide me, whoever you are, what you are. And he said, the voice. I say he because it was very masculine. It's a very masculine energy that comes through. And Jonah said one day, I am not your guide. He said, I am collective consciousness. I have never been in a body. I have no name. Do not ask me again. I was like, oh, he was very harsh, straight through. I went, okay. So about maybe 5 years later in a meditation, I saw, this is going to, some of you men watching this might not get this, but I know the women will. This man was walking towards me in meditation. He had no top on. He was all muscly, very virile. And my libido went. I was like, whoa, what was that? And he said, I am Jonah. And I recognized the energy. And I said, but you said you were not a body and you've never, he said, no. He said, but now you need to see me and understand this, because where your future is going, you will have to label me so people understand what you're doing, or they will not accept it. Oh, so that's how Jonah came in.
That's so cool. Very cool.
Yes. Would you say that although Jonah is the collective consciousness, can you identify that energy as an aspect of yourself, being the collective consciousness?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I love that, Janine. Thank you for asking that. Definitely, because my personality, even though I'm very childlike, I'm very fun, yay, like this, but I also have this very, very strong energy that can be very masculine and very strong. And when I work with people, it is that energy. So it's the collective consciousness particle wave of what is labeled Jonah, which moves through me. And to me, everyone has this moving through them. There is nothing special about what I do as such, but I have just aligned myself, and this is my purpose. My purpose is a channel. I'm an oracle. I tell stories. I'm a real great story, as you can tell. I'm just like blah, 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 blah. Life path 5, ladies. Throat chakra, hello. What am I? So this is my life. This is who I am. So yes, Jonah is that particle wave of collective consciousness that moves through me. Every human being has a wave of consciousness, and what I call it is a strand of emotional frequency that soul has come into the body to use. And when you use it, when you understand what your frequency is, what your particle wave is, what the emotional strand is trying to help you heal, not traumatize you. In the beginning, it feels like trauma, and it is. But that's only so you can heal, so you can grow, so you can vibrate from a different place, so you can help consciousness. Because that's totally. Who you are.
And that strength you talk about, that, straightening the backbone, when that happens, you have to speak the truth that's coming in. Yes. And I think that energy is what gives us that actual courage, in a sense, to actually speak the truth, because it is a challenge. you know, to say things to people that you know is not what they want to hear at all. You know?
I hear you. You know, when I first started in groups, I used to get people attacking me all the time for what I'd speak. And I was like, oh my gosh. So that's how I had to really, to actually speak truth without placing anything of mine into it. I had to filter it in a way that I listened. And so that was what the counseling taught, you see, to listen without thinking.
Yes. Hollow vessel's what I call it. It's like being in a hollow vessel and just allowing that channel through.
And that's not easy, because we are taught that, you know, the mind is so busy. And this is why meditation became so beautiful for me. You know, just this morning, I'll just share something there. It's like we are always that open, beautiful vessel until something gets placed into it. And then it changes the vibration. And then the mind attaches to it, the emotions attached to it, and then we're playing a role out based on a past experience. So this morning, this year, I've started again to study the Course in Miracles. I've done it, you know, for 20 odd years, but this year I've started again. And one of the lesson today was about what I recognized is one day as an experience, I was at work feeling great. Someone walked in and goes, oh, isn't it cold? And I went, oh yeah. Then I felt cold, yet before I wasn't. So, and I noticed that moment. And so it's about this. It's about us watching, what does your mind and your thoughts and your beliefs do with what the world shows you or what you see? And eventually when you clear all that, there's nothing. It's like people say, how come your life is so peaceful and everything's so calm? Because my mind is clear. Yes, I see the world, I hear, but it's not affecting me. It doesn't touch me, because I am not seeing the world. I'm seeing through the eyes of universal consciousness into the world. Yeah, because the mind is clear.
Stepped back as the observer, and therefore able to take everything in without absorbing any of the emotional impact of it, just observing. Yeah,
and it's
attachment.
Yes, comes back to experiencing, doesn't it? Without the narratives going on, just experience.
You know, I'm often asked with clients over the years, how do you do this? Like, you know, in a week, I could have anywhere between 10 and 12 clients. And I'm like, still me.
Yeah.
They're like, how do you do that? Doesn't that affect you? Like all that emotion thrown at you? And I'm like, no. Like when you're there, I'm present. When you walk out, I don't remember. I never remember a session from one to the other. I take notes.
Yeah.
So that thread, sorry, Mandy,
go. I've done it.
That thread that comes through you that you've titled Jonah so that the world can identify, I totally relate to that, because the thread that comes through me, they called themselves the Shining Ones, and they were quite a few in the group, a collective, and it's like for years and years and years, I looked on them as separate to myself, and they would come through me and talk. But then over the last 3 years, they've integrated fully, and I realize and know all that energy to be myself now. But the thread is unbroken. It still comes through. It was a big journey to own it for myself, though. I had to work through some self-doubt, because people believe the Shining Ones, but would they listen to me? So there was work to be done, but so I totally understand. And I was just wondering if Jonah, if you felt Jonah was ready to have a word here and to maybe bring.
He's always ready. just hang on a minute. Like we have these little moments, you know. He gets a bit pushy. And you'll hear, he is funny. Now, is there anything in particular that you would like to ask Jonah to maybe talk about? What, you know, there's so much going on, but
so much.
I think that one of the most relevant things is how the world is presenting right now and what that is about. I know that's very broad, but But there is many pieces in that would be relevant for right now.
Yeah, okay. All right, so give me a moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Myself, I just have to step aside.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Ah, blessings. So
Blessings.
much. So much beauty. So much joy, yet covered with scrambled energy. So many scrambled moments that consciousness is a witness and trying to unravel right now. The unraveling always takes place. But whether you let go, that is yours. We constantly unravel. But can you ultimately let go? Can you step aside and move into what you need to? Can you ultimately know who you are? The letting go is a process. It's nothing that happens straight away. We hear the terminology being thrown around so many times now. Oh, just let go. And people get confused because they think they have let go. But letting go is a process, and where it begins is within you. It begins with untangling the web that you created in front of you. That web, I just want to share with you the word narcissist comes in. Again, another word thrown around. Terminology right now we have to let go of. I ask that you let go of the words narcissist. Another one we hear often, gaslighting. They change in generations, have you noticed? You know, you can even go on the computer these days, and you can read up on gaslighting and on narcissistic behavior. And everyone can say, I know someone like that. But no one ever owns it for themselves. So when you are looking for something, when you are trying to find something to label something with, be aware that you're not letting it go. Be aware that you are still in the entanglement from where you started. So letting go begins within you and ends within you. It has nothing to do with the person, a situation, or the world. Letting go is where you have held on to something that you believe is going to change something within the form in front of you. But no, it never will. The form in front of you only changes within you. It changes when you change and let go of the emotion. That is all. The emotion that you are holding dearly to. So we say, let go. But I'm not asking you to let go of the story outside of you. I'm not asking you to let go of the person, to move on. How can you ever move away from particles that are who you are? You will just recreate them somewhere else. So letting go. Let's see. It is a thread. It is a thread that is attached. This thread never leaves you. You have to grow and merge and move above it. We call it the soul strand. Each experience in front of you has come to you for a reason. I will not label these experiences right now, but we know what we're talking about here. You, me, Caroline, everyone who is listening, because we are all one particle wave of one consciousness. All right, these stories, these things that you appear to see in front of you, How can you stop this outside of you? Well, you can't. How can you change how you feel about what is happening outside of you? Well, you need to change the feeling inside you. How? By removing it from the particle wave that it is attached to. This may sound very technical to all of you, but it's not. It's energy. Everything is just energy. Everything you do, everything you see, everything you feel is just energy. But the mind attaches. The mind. The joyous, wonderful gift that was given the body to help heal consciousness. Did you know that? We call mind, we call consciousness. And there is another part of mind that everyone talks about, the ego. The ego mind. You either hate it or you love it. You either attach to it or you define yourself as it. But no, the ego mind is just an element of mind, of consciousness. And its job will always be there. Its job is to protect you, to help you, to guide you, to say yes and to say no. That's all its job was. You have attached to it. You have become too aware of it, and you have stepped back, and you allow it to rule. That is another quandary we won't get into today, because that one goes deep. So, what is happening in this timeline? Well, all I will say is the mind has gone a bit erratic. The mind loves to look outside of itself right now. But I ask you all to continue looking within. That's all. Look within and find why you are thinking the thoughts that you have. Where did they come from? Where did they begin? Are they attached to a past? Remember, it's just a strand of energy. See where it connects to a past thought, a past story, a past feeling. And then come into this moment and see where you are bringing it into the moment. That's all. For centuries, bodies and souls have been looking at mindfulness. Caroline always states, stop, drop, and meditate. I will agree. All of you need this. If you have an erratic mind, if you are in chaos, if you are seeing stories outside of you that do not align with who you believe you are, then you need to stop. You need to go in and find where you created that particle wave in front of you. I'm not saying that you are responsible for all the tragedy that is happening in your world. But what particle wave are you holding on to within you that may have accumulated within you, that gets projected outside of you, that then comes back to you as a story? That's the truth. Always the truth. It's never anything else. You can go on this beautiful ride of healing. You can do whatever you need to do, but if you do not look at the thought processes that created the particle wave in the first place, then it will never change in front of you. There is so much peace, really. Right now, sitting in front here with the two of you, there is peace, even though there has been tragedy. But there still is peace amongst the chaos. Within your own personal issues also. There has been tragedy recently. I feel that. But I tell you that the peace within you will help. The peace within you is what you share with the world. The peace within you is what you talk through. Everyone who is connected to the tragedy recently, when you speak through your heart, you help and heal the whole. Remembering there is only one mind here, playing out in bodies. When we get this, truly, when you, the part that is me, when you see through my eyes, When you look through me, it is then that you will find the truth. It is then when you will discover your true nature. And what that is peace. Peace behind the chaos. Peace never leaves you. Chaos comes and goes. When chaos is there, you lose peace. Then chaos leaves and you find peace. Then another story comes and you lose peace. But you don't really lose it. You believe you do. You have to keep coming back within. There is a point within your consciousness, which is, you call the third eye, but it is different. It is not the third eye itself. There is a place deep within your mind, and it is what we call the inner temple. That inner temple is where we come through. And when that inner temple is clear, when that inner temple is open, then you will hear, feel, see, and act out all of the most beautiful energy waves that are alive and waiting for you to clear the inner temple. How do you clear that inner temple? Well, Caroline will tell you it wasn't easy, because it's something that humans do not like doing. And it's called using water fluids to flush your sinus cavity. Did you know that? Your inner temple resides up your mouth, right up, higher, higher. And when it is clear and you meditate and you leave your mouth open slightly, you will have a wave of energy pour through you. This is called the liquid honey that runs through the system. Many in history have experienced this through meditation. It is a liquid honey that runs down from the back of the throat cavity, down into the chest area of the human anatomy, and it lights up the chakra in the heart center. Then it travels down through the solar plexus, as you call it. We call that a pot of stuff. And then it goes down to the navel. And when you experience this, you will know who you are. When you experience this in meditation, you will divinely connect. So yes, that inner temple, which is within you, is where consciousness resides through you. It moves through you. It travels through you. I want you to understand this. Deeply go within. Deeply understand yourself. Watch what your body cavities are doing. I know that sounds odd, but we see it as a machine. You need to flush them. You need to clear them. But I will not tell you to diet, and I will not tell you to be healthy, because they are just beliefs also. You do whatever you need to do for each individual body. But that is not something that consciousness will ever share with you. Consciousness will say you are perfect just the way you are. Always know that. If anything else comes through, it is from the ego mind. We never doubt you. We never pick on you. We never tell you you're wrong. We never tell you that you have made a mistake. No, we will always tell you how perfect, how beautiful, how in alignment you truly are. It is what your mind does with it that creates your chaos. That is it. So what is happening out there in front of you? Know and ask yourself, what particle wave of you is it? Heal that within you, and that thread that is attached to that out there will dissipate. If each human being right now could find that point within them that has created what the experience is outside of them and heal it, if every human being did this, there would be no chaos in the world. That's all I will say on that. For we have not much time to go into the depth of what you, I will not say need, because that is not true either. Is there anything else you would like me to share today?
Gosh, you've covered so much in such a short amount of time. It's been an amazing exchange. I can really feel your I feel drawn into you as you're speaking, Jonah. I can really feel myself being drawn right into you as you're speaking. It's quite an incredible feeling.
This feeling that you have, this is the particle wave that we share. This particle wave is a transference of energy. Transference is where energy sits in the particle wave and it moves from consciousness to consciousness. This is how you are all connected here in this earthly plane. If this feeling of particle wave was not present, you would all just fall apart because there would be no connection. This is the connection. When you look upon another human being and you feel from them, it is because that particle wave is traveling. It is connecting you. You are all connected. We see the light between you all from that inner temple, from temple to temple. It is connected. The only time that that temple is disconnected is when the body breaks down, when the body does not have life force energy moving through it anymore. But always know good and bad, whether someone is, and I will say it, whether someone is a rapist, a murderer, and one that no one likes talking about, the pedophilia, it doesn't matter what they are parts of consciousness. Everything is here for experience, but it is what the mind does with this experience that creates chaos and havoc around it. It is a suffering, yes, but in truth, this too is breaking down. You will notice that there is not much talk and much thought on this, and this will change. It always does. Depends what mind is focused on to what is created in reality. Remember that. If you focus too much on the things that you do not like, if you have a talk on, say, someone who is a rapist and how they treat women, then you will all of a sudden in humanity's history start to see rapists. You will start to see things occurring from that line of energy. Remember this, it is what is within you that creates the reality outside of you always. So yes, you see it, you focus on it, you heal it within you, that strand, and then that energy, that particle wave does not have to create constantly outside of you. That is the truth about why you're here. Notice that when you focus on peace, you will have peace. If you focus on chaos, you will have chaos. If you focus on, and I will say it, the war, then you will see war everywhere. Those who choose not to focus on it, it's not that you are disconnecting, it's not that you are shutting it out. Those who choose not to is because it may not be in their environment, it may not be in their reality because it is not within their mind on that moment. But those who see it on your TVs or on your phones, all of a sudden, what do you see? I'm going to share something. I giggle, and Caroline's just laughing at this internally at the moment. Your phones. You will talk about how, oh my God, we are being checked all the time. Everything we say appears on our phones. Oh, they're listening in on us. Hello, this is the particle wave of consciousness that I was just talking about. If you speak it, you will see it. No, the government is not doing all these things to you. That is not true. You do this to you. Okay, I will leave that there.
That's gorgeous. Thank you so much. And would you say now is a really important time for everyone to start really sort of creating their own pathways now? You know, like we've been in that collective muck, really, like we've, you know, and now it seems like there's enough people sort of awake as such, or aware that consciously we've been creating this together. And for me, I feel now it's really important to drive them in a sense, you know, move them towards more of their own creation rather than sitting in that muck. Do you know what I mean? Like really.
Yes, the muck is the quagmire. It is the quicksand. The muck is where the muck is where they get stuck. All right. Now, this energy, I would say 75% of humanity may have one foot in it. Yes. And then they may take that foot out. There may only be 35, 40%. They have both feet in and they're sinking to their head. This is common. But what is the role here for those who are awake? What is the role here for those who are conscious and aware of what is going on? Is it for the ones who are aware and conscious to move those who are not out of that? No. But in all you do as an aware being, you bring the light in. And it is that light that those who are caught in the quagmire reach out to. The more you understand you, the more light you shine, the more people will reach for you, the more you will share with them. You are not actually pulling them out of that and having to do anything apart from shine your light to heal yourself constantly. That will draw those to you who need to operate and move into that energy that you give off. Each one of us here, Caroline, Mandy, Janine, we all have a different vibration. And the ones that draw to you is because their soul needs what you have as a light. It may look like it is the information, but as Caroline has always said, it is not the information. It is not what she speaks, but the vibration behind what she speaks. As Janine said before, this tone, this vibration, this energy that is showing you right now, you move into it. You are drawn to it like a bug is drawn to a light. That's how it works. So be aware that whatever you do, do not stop, because your light is shining so much that those people are drawn to it and to you. You then become the way shower. You then show the way and they will follow. It is always that. You sit, you meditate, you be present, you open your eyes, and what will happen? There will be people in front of you. People who want to know, how do I get to that place? How do I feel that? Then you can share you. You share how you went there, how you got there. That's why people sit in front of you. You are all storytellers. Remember that. Have divine stories. You have come as that light. So yes, keep going.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go. Okay, I'm back.
Beautiful. That was beautiful.
That was fantastic. Really, really fantastic.
Thank you, Jonah.
Thank you, Jonah. Absolutely.
He never not comes through. He's like waiting there all the time.
Yeah.
So the light around you is so vastly different when you're here by yourself to when Jonah's in. It's incredibly different.
Yes.
Like the brightest silver was pouring off you while Jonah was in.
Little gold hue around the outside of there.
To me it was white silver. And as he was talking and I was being drawn into him, I'm calling him now as well. This mauve light was funneling out to me, surrounding me, a beautiful mauve light. So that was fascinating too.
Yeah, I just love it, because you would know yourselves that when you're doing something, you don't really see anything.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that was tangible.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is. Jonah is, you can't describe it. You know, people go, oh, what's that mean? What is it? But you cannot until they see it. It's like he's there. That energy is like I'm hearing everything, I'm feeling everything, and every now and then it depends what he's talking about. I'll be like, no, don't say too much. And we have a little banter going on as well.
Yeah,
but beautiful. I do love it. It's it's energizing, as you said, that energy. You know, I know when I'm in groups and he comes through and I'm talking, and it's not like when I went there, that's me stepping aside. But most times when I'm in the flow, I just keep going and not do this separate him come in and me go back.
Yes.
And again, my energy, people go, oh my God, your aura was like really big.
Yeah.
And that always is my moment to go, thank you, because that even helps me to know that who I am, what's happening for me and through me is a beautiful energy.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
The people that I used to live with, who I now live on their property, but in my own dwelling, the lady of the house said to me one day, I absolutely love it when you've got clients and they come around, she said, because often I do it online, but when they come around, she said, because you're flying high for the rest of the day, she said, and I just love to slip into that energy.
Exactly. You know, and isn't that the beautiful gift of who we are and what we can give the world? You know, I think one of my wires, what was I was just going to say? Sorry, Jonah just came in then, and I had to just push her. Whoa, hang on, stop! You've gone. It's my turn. Okay, what was I just going to say there about that? Because he wanted to share something about that. You know, when the clients come and okay, I'm just going to listen here and see what he wants to say about that. And it's about when we sit in, all right, here it comes. When we sit in front of people, we are holding frequency. When we hold frequency, frequency pours through from the ethers, it pours through from the planetary systems. So every human being that sits in front of you, we say that when two minds join, we will be present. So it is so important for those of us who have this gift, who are sharers, givers, oracles, whatever we choose to call it and label it. It is so important because when two come together, the energy shifts, and then the particle wave, like it does this between, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and they can see that light. So this is why, like in my, and you both might find this in my home, in like this room here is where I have my meditation circles and do my Reiki. I've got another room that I do my therapy work in. But what happens is people walk in and they're like, oh my God, like so zen. Every particle wave is in this environment.
Yes.
And they say, oh, do you have to cleanse because of all the people that come through? I don't cleanse at all. It is crisp, clear, every moment, because when you join, you open yourself to that energy of source. And source comes through and moves. Like, I don't call negative or positive. It just clears things that aren't meant to be there.
Yes. Exactly. I was just going to say all that before that happened. Is that when we're sitting, when we're sitting in that space, you feel the energy coming through is shifting. It's shifting everything. It's moving it all. It's renewing, resetting, all sorts. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And you know, in my field of work, because I'm an emotional therapist. Oh my gosh, when someone releases and cries, they go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh no, please keep going.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
that moment when someone is so vulnerable that I have someone walk in the other day. She walked in, she goes, and she started crying straight away. First time she walked in, and I said, because this is a healing space. So you're looking into the energy, and the energy does it. I really just sit and listen, and it just did it.
Yeah, it's beautiful, eh? It is.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Look at that. The whole hour's gone past just like that. Like it feels like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many years we were told that the masters would be walking this earth, you know, and
here
we are.
I know. Exactly. And
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Masses over me when you said that.
Yeah. And just how many are working through all of us at the same time, you know, it's just incredible. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
I had a client this morning just before we finished that at the very end of the session, she said to me, oh my gosh, Janine, you're so familiar to me, she said, and I can't quite work out how I know you, but you're so familiar. And I said, because you're just starting to see yourself. I said, that's the familiar piece you're seeing in me. And she just started crying. It just ran down her face. I thought she's got that. She's really got that.
Absolutely.
Oh, how beautiful. It is so precious and so beautiful when our clients, it's like, I call it the aha moment. You can see it. I go, there it is.
Yeah.
That's that moment that my whole being goes, oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
I absolutely know it.
Away. It's so lovely.
You watch it and you go, there it is. Yes.
Yeah. Totally.
Beautiful. And you know that they walk out of that space holding that too, you know, they might hold it for a week, month, whatever, but they're going to also shift somebody else's energy state as well while they're in that place. You know, it just ripples.
Yes, the ripple effect of life. And the healing effect. It does, you know, and you'll probably find yourselves with, when you actually work in that energy field and it's real palpable, I call it, it's like a palpable energy. I never advertise my private practice.
No.
15 years, it's all word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's the particle wave transference. Yeah. And then those, because I've always said, I ask that you send me those who are meant to sit in front of me, those who my energy and their energy can become one.
Yes. Yeah.
Because otherwise, what happens is if someone goes, oh yeah, I want to try that, you feel like you're grading up against it.
Yes.
And hitting up against it. And so their energy, it's not that, you know, they're not reciprocal. It's just their energy at that time isn't in alignment with the energy that you're moving. They've still got something else that needs to be worked on before that can happen.
Totally.
And usually that's that I want to test you out thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what needs to move out.
Yeah. So I very, very rarely get them. And I think the gift too is, I always say to people, because they go, oh, yeah, you know, medium. I'm like, yeah, and I don't give readings.
No, exactly.
I do not give readings as such. I use my gifts in the healing field.
Yes.
Yes. Because that way I can really be myself, you know, like if an ancestor comes in when we're doing constellation work, it's like, oh, okay, that's so, you know, I've had people come in based on who's sitting in front of me to show us where we need to go.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not fortune tellers, eh?
Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, spin that wheel. What are you going to land? Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, ladies. I have had a ball. Like, I just, you know, someone said to me the other day, Caroline, you changed. Well, I was on a Zoom call. She goes, Caroline, did you know you changed? And I went, what do you mean? Because you get younger when you're talking. And I went, yeah, because this is my passion.
Yes.
So you know when you're in your passion, because your energy just ignites.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. And I just feel often how privileged we are in respect to this body being here and being able to experience all of that in this form. You know, I mean, that's just such a brilliant thing.
It is.
Brilliant.
And we have to, I think the body too, we have to honor like you said, we have to honor it, but also it's when we really get that we are the soul in the body is where the body changes for the good. Yeah. But when we believe we're just the body, it's heavy, sludgy energy. Yeah. But when we go, oh, but this is who I am, but this is me in it, it's a lighter, freeing energy.
Oh, yes, totally.
So the two are who I am, the physical, you know, personality dresses it. Personality makes it look pretty. Yeah. Personality wants color, you know, all of that. That's who I am. I will never deny that. But I know on another level that I am the soul in the body.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's right. And we came into experience, you know, and that's putting the color on and, you know, having the hair however we might want to have it and change it occasionally or whatever. It's all just experiencing being in the body.
Yeah.
It's great. It's good fun. Well, thank you so much, Caroline. It's been absolutely wonderful. And thank you too, again, for Jonah coming in and thank you, Jonah, and that consciousness. And yeah, obviously you will keep going. We don't have to tell you to do that because it's your passion and you will be doing this till the end of time.
Definitely. I'll be doing it until I can't talk.
Yes.
I'm sure we'll see you back on here in the future. And
wonderful. I would love to be a guest again, ladies. Such a privilege and a pleasure. And know that you're doing such an amazing job putting this out for everyone to see and feel and hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So beautiful.
Lots and lots of love, Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you.